How to choose a video codec. So choosing a codec for an application is a complex multi-dimensional challenge that requires some serious thought about how you measure the benefits of one codec versus another. By choosing a codec, I'm not really talking about which vendor to choose, but I'm talking about what encoding technology is the right one for your application. So in order to make a good choice, you first have to know what success smells like. So why do I say smell and not look? Well, it's kind of simple. Describing a smell in words is just as hard as describing the success criteria for the codec, and if you get the wrong words, you're not going to be able to communicate those success criteria, and you'll probably end up making a bad choice. Let's do 3 examples. Number 1, I need to choose a codec for the interchange of HD content between broadcasters in the United Kingdom. And this is the problem statement that the Digital Production Partnership set itself a few years back. Some of the success criteria were the result of various laws and guidelines that were put in place to ensure an equal opportunity marketplace with fair access to all market entrants. And these included the codec and its wrapper must be a recognized standard. The codec must be available on reasonable and non-discriminatory terms. And the codec must be available from more than one supplier. Now, other success criteria came from how the files would actually be used. So, for example, the visual quality should be high enough to survive a few transcodes without visual loss, and the codec should be intra-frame for ease of access and storage. Second example, I need to preserve content for 100 years with no loss of data. So, success here really depends on the definition of the term no loss, and this will usually mean a mathematically lossless codec so you can exactly recover the original bit stream despite the compression being used. There's also the invisible requirement that you should probably be compressing the correct version of the content, and there's no point in having a mathematically perfect preservation of the aired version if that aired version was chroma subsampled and what you really wanted was the perfect RGB original. Success for the codec choice is quite easily done by checking the mathematical perfection, but there are other aspects to do with how long does it take for the compression to take place, how much compute resource is required. Success is measured by checking that the operational cost of the codec are within the limits, as well as checking the perfection and longevity of the standard. Third example, distribution of content on 2G mobile phones. Well, here there's an obvious success criterion, and that's because the bandwidth available to any one particular phone is severely restricted. If you can't get watchable pictures at 2G, then there's no service. Moreover, the decoder complexity and energy consumption is really important here. The phones have to be low power, so this application is highly asymmetric. We're putting a lot of effort into the encoder, so that the decoder can be low power and simple starts to give you a huge payback. One additional requirement is that the number of phones that can be reached with the compressed signal, and here this is where we can use some modern magic. So just the way a modern tablet application is actually a specialized version of a generic website, there are companies who are taking standard bit streams and adding helper information to ensure that a modified decoder can do even better than the standard decoder, and that kind of magic helps to attract and to retain viewers of the service. So choosing a codec is not just a technical decision. There are nearly always business economics that need to be looked at over the life cycle of the content being encoded to ensure that you're making a choice that's good for today, and good for tomorrow, and next month, and next year, and in the case of the Library of Congress in America, the next 5,000 years. A standardized codec is nearly always the first choice for many people's applications, but in today's fast-moving media industry, we're seeing many proprietary and semi-proprietary codecs enjoy great success. So whether you're about to choose vanilla H.264, waiting for the promised AV1, or evaluating something special like ProRes, DNX HD, or Perseus, remember that codec choice is a technology choice to solve a business problem, and the success of your business problem will be measured commercially and not technically. Thanks for watching.